This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
First at 7, it's a foggy evening in central Indiana. You might have noticed a few showers as well.
Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is tracking some changes on the way. Kevin.
And one of those, a big temperature change as we step into the weekend. Our visibility is also changing. It's improving. Visibility had been down to a quarter of a mile or less in spots. Around 2-mile visibility in Indy. Western Indiana in good shape. If we go just to the north and east, you kind of follow I-69 through southern Hamilton County. Visibility under a mile in Fishers and under 3/10 of a mile, about a quarter-mile visibility in Muncie. To the south, where you've had a little more consistent rain that helps wash away the fog. That rain is sliding to the north and east. Anywhere from Shelbyville, Rushville to Greensburg and Richmond stays in this path of the rain here for a while longer. Temperatures stuck for now in the low to mid 40s. Colder air will come in from the northwest, moving to the southeast, and that means eventually our rain showers will mix with and change to snow showers. This is what we'll wake up to. Temperatures around freezing to the mid 30s. And I'll just show you the early morning hours. 8 a.m. you begin to see that rain snow mix in western Indiana. We'll follow the timeline for that coming up.
New at 7, an update to a story Call 6 Investigates has been following for more than a year. Despite calls from veterans, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office will not file criminal charges against the leaders of the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs. Under the leadership of the former IDVA Director Jim Brown, department employees help themselves to military relief funds while denying other veterans in need. Veterans also called for charges against former Indiana lawmaker Alan Paul, who served as an unregistered lobbyist for the IDVA. However, the prosecutor's office says it did not find any conduct that would support criminal charges. Veteran Lisa Wilkin was interviewed by the prosecutor's office in May of 2019 and tells RTV6, quote, "I guess you can falsify applications for aid for yourself and allow friends to get benefits they aren't eligible for if you work for the right state agency," end quote.
3 people are facing more than 50 charges tonight for a crime spree that stretched across central Indiana. The Marion County prosecutor says Richard Garrett and Rashahana Farrow, pictured here, and Delonte Hatcher are responsible for more than a dozen crimes, including shootings and 2 murders. Prosecutor Ryan Mears says sometimes the crimes were targeted, but in some cases, they were random acts of violence.
There was a number of incidents over a pretty small period of time where these individuals are alleged to have participated in a number of violent acts that touched upon many different people in the city.
On top of the crime spree detailed by the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, 2 of the suspects, Garrett and Farrow, were arrested in November in connection with the death of Fishers Police K-9 Harley. You can read the full list of charges against all 3 suspects at theindychannel.com.
Right now, 1 person is under arrest, and police are still searching for another after a carjacking in Carmel. Investigators say 2 people carjacked an SUV, and they were able to track the vehicle to Indianapolis using GPS. IMPD officers picked up the case and followed the SUV. Police say the suspects jumped out of the vehicle at 27th and Paris near I-65. 1 person was caught. The search continues for the 2nd suspect tonight. Police in Fortville hope someone will recognize the people seen in this video. Investigators say they're the suspects responsible for vandalizing a new sushi restaurant. The owner of Bonsai Fortville says he arrived to work on Thursday to find someone had thrown rocks at the windows and door. Police say the vandalism took place just before 7 a.m. Thursday morning. If you recognize these people, call the Fortville Police Department right away.
Covering the State House now, Indiana's legislative session begins Monday, and lawmakers are getting the word out about the bills they're hoping to turn into laws this year. One bill filed today would prohibit discrimination in schools that receive tax dollars. Democratic State Senator J.D. Ford wrote up this piece of legislation that is somewhat inspired by what former Roncalli guidance counselor Shelley Fitzgerald went through. Fitzgerald was fired after the Archdiocese of Indianapolis found out about her marriage to her wife of 23 years. That decision prompted an outcry from many fellow Catholics in the Indianapolis LGBTQ community. Ford says his anti-discrimination bill would prioritize the safety and well-being of students and teachers.
My bill prevents any school that discriminates against its teachers, staff, or students from receiving state taxpayer dollars. This includes discrimination based on race, disability, color, gender identity, sexual orientation, marital status, national origin, religion, or ancestry.
State Senator Ford introduced a similar bill last session, which ultimately failed. And another bill filed ahead of the legislative session addresses one of the issues brought up by teachers and educators during November's Red for Ed rally at the State House. The Hold Harmless bill, filed by State Senator Jeff Ratz, would ensure schools and teachers are not negatively impacted by the results of the new iLearn test. The policy would be in place for 2 years. Teachers we spoke to say iLearn is stressful for both teachers and students, and that there are better ways to evaluate how students are learning. The Senate Education Committee plans to discuss the bill on Monday.
A Western Indiana community is mourning the sudden loss of a police officer. Rockville, Indiana police say Officer Rodney Smith died unexpectedly Thursday morning. The town's police chief says Officer Smith was battling flu-like respiratory issues. Smith had been in the town's police force since 1988 and served in a number of roles. Officer Smith's services are scheduled for Monday in Rockville, and they are open to the public. The Humane Society for Hamilton County is putting out a call for help so it can continue helping abused and unwanted animals. The shelter says it's been out of space and resources for more than a decade. They take in animals from across the state that are difficult to find a home or care for. The shelter's president and CEO says they're missing important elements to continue that work-like exercise space and a medical center for the animals. The Humane Society is building a new facility that will fill all of its needs, but they need help to finish the work and move in.
We just need to get in there. We need to get in there, and right now is the time for everybody to come forward and help however they can. Local businesses, individual donors, sponsor kennels, cages. There's all kinds of ways to help.
The Humane Society for Hamilton County is close to meeting its $12 million goal for construction, but they still need donations to operate and fill the space with equipment. The shelter hopes local businesses and donors will step up to help.
The United States has killed a top Iranian general, and the consequences of the attack have been swift.
Yeah, many are wondering whether the U.S. is on the brink of another war. Major cities are ramping up security. Stocks fell 200 points as investors worried about the unrest in the Middle East. That's also contributing to a spike in oil prices. The U.S. State Department is now warning any U.S. citizens in parts of the Middle East to leave immediately. ABC's Trevor Ault has the latest.
The American drone strike, which killed top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, already sending shockwaves around the world. The U.S. now sending 3,500 additional troops to the Middle East as President Trump praises what he sees as a military victory.
Last night, at my direction, the United States military successfully executed a flawless precision strike that killed the #1 terrorist anywhere in the world.
One U.S. official and a source familiar with the matter telling ABC Soleimani was planning a series of attacks across Lebanon, Iraq, and Syria. In Washington, the president's supporters lauding the swift action to strike.
The architect and chief engineer for the world's most active state sponsor of terrorism has been removed.
But world leaders are now urging caution, some fearing further escalation. The attack taking place at Baghdad International Airport, home of U.S. ally Iraq, and also now drawing condemnation from their prime minister as a breach of his country's sovereignty. Iranians taking to the streets as their supreme leader vows severe revenge against the United States, perhaps turning the thousands of American troops and intelligence workers in the region into targets. And some Democrats upset they weren't involved in the decision to strike, now concerned about the consequences moving forward.
This action may well have brought our nation closer to another endless war. Exactly the kind of endless war the president promised he would not drag us into.
A major question now is not if, but how Iran will respond, possibly by attacking oil tankers or ships like the country was accused of doing last year, by launching a cyber attack against the United States, or by trying to take down a prominent American military or diplomatic official in retribution. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, the Senate is back in session following their holiday recess, and the standoff continues over the articles of impeachment.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is refusing to forward the articles to the Senate until she knows the rules for the trial. A main sticking point is whether witnesses would be called in a Senate trial. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is holding firm, saying the Senate will only consider witnesses after opening statements, similar to the Clinton impeachment trial. And new tonight, the United Methodist Church could make a huge decision this year by splitting up over the issue of same-sex marriage. Friday, a group proposed spinning off the church. They suggested the new denomination will be called Traditionalist Methodist. This comes amid decades of fighting over whether the denomination should lift its ban on same-sex marriage and LGBT clergy. The church is expected to consider the proposal at its general conference in May. The United Methodist Church has more than 13 million members worldwide.
Still ahead on RTV6 News at 7, a new fleet of buses are relying on wind power instead of gas or electricity. We'll show you how they work and the cost.
The first ways to stay healthy during a deadly flu season, so your flu shot has a fighting chance.
As flu season continues, there have already been more than 2.5 million cases of the virus across the country, including 1,300 deaths, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 9 of those deaths have been in Indiana, according to the state health department. That's 2 more deadly cases than were reported last week. Across the U.S., it's been a record-breaking deadly flu season for children. But all of the deadly cases in Indiana have involved people 25 and older.
The CDC says it's not too late to get vaccinated for the flu. The agency recommends everyone 6 months of age and older to get a flu shot. If you do come down with the virus, Gaither shares these tips to keep you healthy.
It can last as late as May, and the flu season is already wreaking havoc on the health of millions. The first line of defense is well known, washing hands. But beyond that, Atlanta's Northside Hospital says 5 things can help keep the flu away. First, get plenty of Z's. Having healthy sleep patterns helps your immune system stay strong. Soothe stress, easier said than done, but experts say it's crucial to your health. Stress makes bodies more susceptible to illnesses like the flu. Get more from your food. Healthy eating helps boost your immune system. Soak up some sunshine. Colder temperatures keep most of us indoors, but you could be missing out on vital vitamin D. It helps decrease inflammation and helps the body's natural defenses. Finally, keep up the pace. Exercise is essential for immune health. 20 to 30 minutes several times a week can do wonders for your health. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mystery couple revealed, and they're explaining how their picture wound up on the walls at St. Elmo Steakhouse, an honor usually reserved for celebrities.
And a colorful weather map tomorrow. All these colors mean winter's returning. Talk about snow showers through the day coming up.
RTV6, sponsored by Citizens Energy Group. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Welcome back. 5 Indiana flight attendants are among the more than 500 Delta Airlines employees suing Land's End, saying the uniforms provided by that company are making them sick. The suit claims that Land's End uniforms worn by flight attendants and some ground workers pose ongoing, unreasonable risks of physical harm. Delta said it tested the uniforms and believes they are safe. The suit claims employees' tests found unacceptably high levels of chemicals and heavy metals, including formaldehyde and mercury. Complaints from the Hoosier employees include skin irritation, trouble breathing, itchiness, rashes, hair loss, and tightness of chest. Land's End has not responded.
Mystery solved at the iconic St. Elmo Steakhouse in downtown Indianapolis. Earlier this week, they shared this picture, one of the dozens that line the restaurant walls. But this image is different because instead of featuring celebrities, it shows a smiling couple that no one could identify until now. St. Elmo got the word out thanks to the internet, and the mystery couple has been identified as Doug and Carol Collins. They still live in Indianapolis. They stopped by St. Elmo to describe the covert operation to put up their picture.
So we took measurements, and on his 40th birthday, we came prepared with the frame and double-sided tape. And we had 2 friends with us, and one of our friends held the frame in her purse. And at a certain point, Doug said it was time.
Well, they hoped the picture would last a year, and now it's been on the wall for 7.
Can you believe that? 7 years later.
Let me just say, it looks like it's 7 days later. They haven't aged a bit.
Right.
No, but I wonder how many people are now going to try to start sneaking their photos up on the wall.
I'm sure they'll be more vigilant about noticing.
There's not a lot of wall space left.
No,
You're going to have to go
not.
to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to just show you something and tell you a little story that hopefully makes you proud of me. I turned my back on the vending area. So I was already tempted to blow my New Year's resolution.
Look at that.
And I just walked away.
Good for you. It takes a lot.
I know.
But what happened after you took the picture?
That's what I'm saying. I just kept walking. There's a lot of time before now and the end of the day, though. Okay, snow in the Rockies where you expected. The lack of snow is certainly a story. You have to go into the Dakotas, northern portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin and the Great Lakes to find any appreciable snow cover on the ground. We're snowless in central Indiana. We have some snow in the forecast, nothing more than a dusting. This is about rain tonight. It's ongoing right now south and east of Indianapolis. Peak time will be between, say, now and the early morning hours. As we get to tomorrow morning, we'll start a transition to some snow showers. Put this in motion and you see some light accumulation. Again, a few tenths of an inch, but keep in mind, a decent amount of this would be melting on contact as the temperature will be at or a little above freezing. Just the sight of this will get you in the mood for a little more winter. We've got our showers now, but there's the snow off to the northwest and the solidly colder temperatures. You have divided state right now from Indy and Muncie and Bloomington southeast. There's your more consistent rain. Back to the northwest, the dividing line with some colder air coming in. There's some other showers. Shelbyville, Rushville, Greensburg, Connorsville, Richmond, you'll see the bulk of this rain over the next hour or two. Let's flip to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Ongoing rain snow mix, western Indiana. The blues represent the transition or attempted transition to snow. The green, the rain. This continues with a wintry mix through the day. Temperatures will not move much at all. Plan on being stuck in the 30s. The wind will be cold out of the northwest and strong at times, gusting over 20 miles per hour, and that will make it feel even colder. What happens quickly on Sunday, the wind changes direction now out of the southwest for the second half of the weekend, increasing, gusting to 30 miles per hour, but it pushes our temperatures back into the 40s. Early next week, chance for a rain-snow mix Tuesday. Coldest day of the week in the forecast Wednesday. Dry, 34, lower 20s in the morning. Then we climb quickly. Thursday, basically dry until Thursday night, 46. Rain likely and 52 next Friday. Beyond the 7-day forecast that you just looked at there, additional above-average temperatures expected.
Oh.
I will take it.
I'm going to go to the vending machine now. Okay.
Strength. All right, thanks, Kevin, for that. A major selling point of Indigo's new red line has been the electric buses running along the route.
But buses across Indianapolis and in other parts of the country are still loud and rely on gas.
Except for one city, where Maya Rodriguez shows you a new bus is relying on a different kind of fuel.
It looks like a typical city bus.
So it's a very smooth and peaceful bus commute.
But it's the quiet that tells you there's something different about this one.
There's no rumbling of the engine in the back.
This is Bus 962, running its 26-mile route through Portland, Oregon. It's a first in the country because what's fueling this bus is the power of wind. How does it work? The bus is electric, but its charging stations are powered by wind turbines, provided by Portland General Electric.
We guarantee that the energy consumed by this bus over the course of a year is generated by wind resources in the Pacific Northwest.
The entire effort centers on reducing pollution and greenhouse gases believed to contribute to climate change.
Greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector here in Oregon are 40% of the state's total emissions.
Which is why transportation officials here want to change all 700 buses to run like the wind.
So what we decided to do was to convert our entire fleet to zero emissions, and we wanted to do that no later than 2040.
The whole fleet?
The entire fleet.
But the buses aren't cheap. Each one costs $1 million, double the cost of a diesel bus. Officials say those costs are offset, though, because the wind-powered buses are 3 times more efficient per mile than diesel, and there are fewer maintenance costs involved. It's a model they expect will one day reach beyond Portland.
I think it can be applied to the other cities throughout the United States.
The potential for a wind-powered bus to blow through a city near you. In Portland, Oregon, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Cool to see there. Still ahead here at 7, 2020 is already going to the dogs.
We are giving you a look at 2 of the dog breeds that are getting recognized by a major organization for the first time. That's next right here on RTV6.
Terribly exciting. That's why we do it.
The American Kennel Club is celebrating the new decade by adding 2 new dogs to its list of recognized breeds.
The AKC is the world's largest purebred dog registry. The first breed is a Barbet, a water dog from France. It's joining the sporting group. It's a small and friendly dog with a soft, curly coat.
And the second new breed is the Doggo Argentino. As the name implies, the hunting dog comes from Argentina. It will join the working group. The AKC says it has a strong guarding instinct and is best for experienced dog owners. The club now recognizes 195 breeds.
Now look at that. Welcome to the team, guys, right?
Look at that.
We'll see you back here tonight at 11. Thanks for joining us.